Hello guys, and today we have here another awesome deck profile. We have here the Volcanic deck. This has been a very new and very popular deck because of this. Pretty much is just one card coming out. It has even caused Magic Planetary Race to be like an $8 card if you have the Legendary Collection version, which is really awesome because I do have that. And it is really interesting. Now, apart from the other build that I've seen, mine is more of a burn deck. I really focus on burn. It's very similar, but I do run the magic cylinders. I am more focused on just burning my opponent for game. And so let's go right in. We won 3 Volcanic Rocket. He is our searcher. He, when summoned, adds 1 Blaze Accelerator, this guy, from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So that is very awesome. That is very great. And then here is our Cycler, Royal Firestorm Guard. If he's normal summon, you can target 4 Pyro monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, draw 2 cards. So he's really great just to draw cards, and he can return himself, so you can just loop, which is awesome. Then we won 3 Volcanic Counter. I really like this card. This card's pretty much a magic cylinder grave. If you have another fire monster, when you take battle damage, it is mandatory effect, so they will automatically be banished, and then your opponent will take the same amount of damage. But do note, if you do not have another fire monster, it will still be banished, but your opponent won't take any damage. So you don't want to drop that until you have another fire monster in your graveyard. And so he's just really great. They can stack, so if you have 2 of them and you get attacked by like a 24 beater, and your opponent will then take 48 damage. So it can be very great for either deterring if they already know what this card does, or just be that lovely surprise that's like, you just died now because you attack. And then we won Scattershot. Scattershot's the very interesting card of this deck because it is our reject key. When this card is sent to graveyard, your opponent takes 500 damage. If this card is sent to graveyard by a Blaze Accelerator card, you can send 2 more and then destroy all of your opponent's monsters. And then the other 2's effects will activate, and then they will take a total of 1500 damage. We won 3 Volcanic Shell. This is pretty much our upstart because you use him and Blaze Accelerator. To use Blaze Accelerator's effect, you will end up drawing a card, and then you can use Volcanic Shell to pay 500 to add another copy of itself from your deck to your hand. 3 Magic Planter. You can use this to get rid of your Fiendish, your Vanities, or your Blaze Accelerator. Blaze Accelerator does have an effect in graveyard, so you're not going 2-. Or if you have another Volcanic Rocket, it doesn't matter. 1 Rejeki, 3 Dualities for consistency, 2 Ceasefires. If you guys don't know what this guy does, it's a semi-limited card. Change all face-down defense to monsters face up. Flip effects are not activated. Great against your dolls. And inflicts 500 damage to your opponent for each effect monster on the field. So your opponent, if you're facing like Cliffworts, they can easily take like 25 or anywhere between 15 to 2500 damage real easily. Facing Burning Abyss, they can take a whole bunch of damage, so that's really great. 3 Reckless Greed. This guy, draw 2 cards. You don't want to activate this until you have 2 of these, because you will end up skipping your next 2 draw phases, but yet that does not stack. So if you activate all 3 of these, you only skip 2 of your draw phases, but you draw 6 cards. So that is really awesome. 3 Magic Cylinder. When opponent's monster pairs an attack, target it, and inflict damage to opponent equal to its attack. And then we run a 4th Magic Cylinder pretty much. Activate only when opponent's monster declares attack. Instead of your opponent takes the battle damage you would have taken from it. So if your opponent attacks a monster that you have, such as Volcanic Rocket, and you take like 700 damage or something, your opponent would take the 700 instead. Well, if you activated Magic Cylinder, your opponent would take the complete 28 or whatever that monster has. So you really just want to use Dimension Wall when it comes to direct attacks. 3 Vanity's Emptiness, just to stop our opponent's plays pretty much. Same with Fiendish Chain, and then Blaze Accelerator. This is a card, as I said, you can ditch a Volcanic monster to draw a card, and you can activate this during your turn and during your opponent's turn, so you can activate it twice really easily. And if it is in the graveyard during either player's main phase, you can banish this card from graveyard, send 1 Volcanic card from your deck to the graveyard, so you can send Scattershot to blow up the field, and they might not be seeing that coming, so that's really great. So as far as the deck goes, it can easily play by itself. It doesn't really need the extra deck, which makes it very budget friendly, because a lot of these cards have been reprinted multiple times. I mean, this is an ultra rare, so it looks pretty nice. Unfortunately, this is only common, and it does very well. It's just been able to blow up your opponent's field, do a whole bunch of damage. And I really like this build compared to other builds, because the amount of more damage it places. The only thing is though is that the Nekroz is a card, and so you really want to get Blaze Accelerator face up as soon as possible. If you get Jinzo'd, and remember Jinzo Ejector is a thing, or if you get the Nekroz, you can be in a lot of trouble. As far as the extra deck, we want to want Heartland Draco, so that way you can get in that attack for 2,000, or actually 4,000 because you can detach twice. And it isn't that hard actually to make rank 4s. When I was originally building this deck, I thought it was, because it was like, I'm not going to be able to special summon another one. But then if you can get one of each of these guys, it can be decent, because you can more than likely going to have a Magic Cylinder or some way to stall, maybe even scatter shot them. So you could easily have 2 level 4s. So you could make a Heartland Draco or Gaga Cowboy. There was a plenty of other ones, like you could run 101, like the card I'd run would be, like, probably should have had this as a Diagusto. No, it's Diagusto. Like, this wouldn't be bad to run, except like he's a $27 card. We can target 3 monsters in graveyard, shuffle them. So it's another version of Foil Firestorm Guard that you could run. And so that is pretty much the deck as far as it goes, and it's really great. There's a lot of burn cards you can run, like if you want to respond to the meta, you can run Fairy Wind, you could run Spell Shattering Arrow. There's a lot of cards. These are very anti-Pendulum though. And then there's Ojima Trios, who you can use against the Burning Abyss. Like, there's a lot of really good burn cards out there, and that I'm just building this because it's this build, because it's very generic, hits every deck, so even if we face another rogue deck, you can still play. And these cards can hit a variety of decks. It can hit any Pendulum. It can hit, Fire Fists, and any deck that uses tankies. Fire Fists. I'm sorry, but it's really sad when you're playing Fire Fist, or some lower deck that isn't considered meta anymore, and the cards that people are citing to beat the meta also hurts your deck. Like, there was this one guy at my locals once who was running Fire Fist, and he saw me citing in a whole bunch of cards, and he's like, "Why are you citing in? How many cards did you play on your side deck for Fire Fist?" And it's like, "No, I just run Fairy Wind, Spell Shattering Arrow, and Flying Sea." I think that hurts your deck. But that's another thing. That's just another thing about citing and coincidence and a whole variety of things. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck profile. There should be a duel up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me what you guys think of Volcanic. Do you think they're going to be an amazingly popular deck? And yeah. And don't forget that we shall be having the Dev Pro tournament very soon. In fact, it should probably be due next week. And so I will have a whole bunch of duels. I'm pretty certain this time, unlike Battle City, Dev Pro's replays actually work. For some reason my replays don't work here on Dawn of a New Era, but my replays should be working on Dev Pro. Last I checked they did, so that means I'll be able to make a little bit better videos. So stay tuned for that. See you guys later. Bye.